Hello, all you internet people. Welcome to our first episode of Potter Tongue. My name is Chris, and I'm very excited to be here. Over the next 2 years, we'll be releasing one video every month. We have a lot to cover in that time, so let us begin with my favorite thing from the wizarding world, and that's Quidditch. I love Quidditch. I love any broomstick game. Exhibit A. It's not plastic, it's a real cast iron cauldron. It's quite heavy. Anyways, ever since I read chapter 5 for the first time, it's heavy. I've always dreamed about what it would be like not just to watch a Quidditch match, but to actually play in one. My favorite part of the Forbidden Journey ride by far is flying onto that Quidditch pitch with Harry. Nothing comes close to that. There'd be nothing cooler than to fly a broomstick. You give me a choice between a broom and a wand, and I'm choosing the broom. Now I know what you're probably thinking, and I don't need to be a skilled legitimens to know that you're probably saying, Chris, if you have a wand, you can just magically summon a broom. Well, that's not the point. The point is broom over wand, Quidditch over dueling. I reread the Harry Potter series at least once a year, and ever since my first read, Quidditch has never felt out of place in Harry's world. The times we get to see Harry bond with his teammates are, I think, some of the more underappreciated moments that we as the reader get to see Harry just be a normal kid. And it's great that we get to see Harry do something he not only excels at, but actually enjoys. Now, contrary to popular belief from critics, I like the Golden Snitch, and I like its 150 point value, and I would never change the value of the snitch or the quaffle. There is, however, one aspect of the game I would amend, but for now, let's stick with the Golden Snitch. I've heard it all from so-called Quidditch fans that bash the game. Snitch is too valuable. We need to lower its point value. You know, what if there's a time limit imposed upon the game so that the capture of the snitch didn't determine when a match ended? In that case, you can catch a snitch multiple times during a game, since it's just another way to earn points. Give me a break. First off, to all you haters on my snitches, you'd be the same people out there on the Quidditch pitch, desperately doing everything in your power to make your house Quidditch team. Second, to all you butthurt chasers, just calm down for a second, okay? When I'm talking about Quidditch in the general sense, I'm talking about the Hogwarts Inter-House Quidditch League. When I'm talking about professional Quidditch, I will specify that for you, alright? Now, the Golden Snitch needs to be the most valuable ball. It's the golden ball. It's literally made of gold. And having a snitch worth 150 points doesn't diminish the value or relevancy of the chasers and their efforts, or those of the defensive players like the beaters and keeper. Because in a round-robin tournament style where your team plays every other team once, it's all about the points. The most common argument I hear about this subject that's opposing my viewpoint on this is, what if a team is dominating a game with stellar chaser play, scoring a lot of goals at the quaffle, and the opponent's team seeker catches the snitch to win the game? Well, even if that happens, that doesn't take away from the effort put forward by the chasers. Because at the end of the day, when the season's over, it's not the team with the best record that wins the Quidditch Cup, it's the team with the most points. And yes, you might lose that game, but thanks to your chasers, you have a small point margin to make up throughout the rest of the season. And I shouldn't have to say this, but I'll just say it the one time. Quidditch points scored count towards your house point total that determines who wins the house cup at the end of the year. So even if your house isn't having the best Quidditch season, every person on your team in every position, not just the seeker, is a determining factor of potential points earned or not earned that could affect the outcome of the house cup. Now, several years ago, I attempted a hypothetical to see if it is mathematically possible for a team to lose every single game by not catching the snitch and still win the Quidditch Cup. I can confirm it is possible. Highly unlikely, but statistically possible. Here, let me show you. So what we have here is the Hogwarts Inter-House Quidditch League season. We have the top row, which is the first matchups. We have the iconic season opener, Slytherin versus Gryffindor, and then Ravenclaw versus Hufflepuff. And as you can see, Gryffindor won, caught the snitch when they were losing 8-1, and this might have been Slytherin outperforming Gryffindor with their brooms. Sorry, you see that? And Gryffindor, as they always do, beats their house rival Slytherin. Now, the other game, Ravenclaw versus Hufflepuff. This is an interesting matchup because we'll be using Hufflepuff House as our example for the team that loses every single game but still wins the Quidditch Cup. So, obviously, they lose the first game, but they were dominating the game, which is a point that a lot of opposing people bring up on this subject. They were winning the game, 14 goals scored to just 1 with Ravenclaw when Ravenclaw caught the snitch, and they won. But thanks to their chasers, they only have a 20-point margin to make up to catch Ravenclaw throughout the rest of the season. So let's move on to the second matchups. Next games are Slytherin versus Ravenclaw and Gryffindor versus Hufflepuff. So here we go again. Ravenclaw wins again, and they not only caught the snitch, but they were winning while they did it. So Ravenclaw goes 2-0. Gryffindor versus Hufflepuff. Gryffindor catches a snitch, but at the time they were losing to Hufflepuff. But, like I said, thanks to the chasers, they have a small point margin to make up, and I believe they're tied at Ravenclaw after 2 games. Hufflepuff 0-2, Ravenclaw 2-0. And finally, the last set of games. Ravenclaw versus Gryffindor, 2 unbeatens, and Slytherin versus Hufflepuff. Now here we have Ravenclaw showing up again, winning, going undefeated 3-0, handing Gryffindor their first loss. And here we go, Slytherin finally stepping up, catching the snitch and dominating the game with an impressive 400-190 win over Hufflepuff, handing Hufflepuff its 3rd loss, giving it a winless season. Now down here we have the different scenarios. Here are the season standings based off of wins and losses and based off of points. So as you can see here, Ravenclaw obviously at the top, 3-0, Gryffindor, Slytherin, and so on with Hufflepuff. But over here is how it's actually run. The Hogwarts Interhouse Quidditch League tournament, it's all about the points. So, in this extreme example of Hufflepuff winning, and let's be honest, the only way they would win the Quidditch Cup, Hufflepuff actually wins the Quidditch Cup with a 0-3 record, taking the cup 20 points more than the undefeated Ravenclaw at 3-0. And then Slytherin, Gryffindor, so on. So there you have it. Hufflepuff is the Quidditch Cup champion with a 0-3 record thanks to their chasers. I will say, and probably so would any reasonable Quidditch fan, that if it was just a matter of wins that you accumulated over the course of a season and not the total amount of points, you would have a much more convincing, stronger argument to make changing the role and the value of the snitch. But that's not the case. It's all about the points. This is really the main reason why I have 0 issues with a 150-point snitch. And the fact that the golden snitch actually works in the game of Quidditch is just another reason why I consider Quidditch one of J.K. Rowling's genius creations. And for that, I love her. She's my favorite author, and J.K. Rowling, you are welcome on the show anytime. There's something that needs to be said. Quidditch isn't about equality, it's about dominance. The best Quidditch teams have plenty of speed, skill, strength, and strategy, the 4 S's as I like to call them. Having these 4 S's and being able to impose your will against your opponent will give you the best chance to win. It's foolish for a team to care about having a certain percentage of a gender on their team to ensure success. The Holyhead Harpies are the best example of this. They're a professional Quidditch team, some might call a discriminating team, that only hires females. Now, I have no issues with a Quidditch team that has all girls on it, but purposefully limiting your talent pool by discriminating against more than half of the eligible players in your league is not a recipe for success. It should be noted that the Holyhead Harpies are the second oldest team in existence and have never won a championship. Just let that sink in for a moment. Never won a championship. I don't think they're doing their fans any favors by continuing this failing tradition. Now, I want to make something very clear again. I'm not against a Quidditch team that has all girls on it. I am against gender quotas that disregard talent. Talent alone is how organizations should assemble their Quidditch teams. Now, if the Holyhead Harpies have an open tryout, and the 7 best players that make the team just happen to be girls, bravo! The Slytherin Quidditch team did something very similar during Harry's first year. They had 0 girls on their team, only guys. It's unclear if this was a house rule to not allow girls on the team, or if the 7 best players that made the team just happened to be dudes. Either way, from what we read throughout the rest of the series, there's no indication that they deviated from this practice. And whenever I watch the first movie, during the Quidditch match, that's the one part that just makes me cringe so much, because they have Slytherin's keeper as a girl, which is, it's just one of the more cringy moments for me in the film, and I don't know if they just didn't know that detail due to negligence, or if they just had some diversity quota, but yeah, it's not a good moment. But I will say that Slytherin did have a better Quidditch season than Gryffindor during Harry's first year. But after that, they never won the Quidditch Cup. So I guess when it comes to winning, having an all-women's team or an all-guys team just for the sake of equality doesn't get the job done. There's a question that die-hard Quidditch fans like myself have certainly thought about at least once in our lives. Was Harry Potter the greatest Gryffindor Quidditch player during his time at Hogwarts? The answer may surprise you. I'll also tell you what my favorite Quidditch position is, right after a word from our unofficial sponsor, Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans, a risk with every mouthful. You just never know what you're gonna get. Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans. The next time you're on the Hogwarts Express and looking for that sweet snack, find the trolley witch and pick up some beans. Don't be afraid. She's really just a witch and not some sentinel guard that will impale you with her spikes if you try and leave the train. Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans, the best wizarding snack for a true Harry Potter fan, available everywhere wizarding candy is sold. Now back to the topic of discussion. If I could try out for any Quidditch position, it'd be Seeker. Aside from its standout position and the glory, my real love for the position comes back to the Golden Snitch. It's a crucial part of the game and what I believe to be the sport's main reason for its worldwide popularity. It's an elusive ball that only a great Quidditch player can catch. And I really just want to reiterate this because my stance on this is very strong, that I am in favor of a 150-point snitch. Because if you lower the value of a snitch, you're not just changing the dynamic of the game, but also the culture of the sport. Quidditch is a rough, violent, exciting game where the seeker gets roughed up and fouled by the other team the most. And if you take that part of the game away, where's the fun in that? For those of you who've never studied the history of Quidditch, sometime during the middle of the 13th century, a man brought a caged Snidget to a Quidditch match and told the players before the game that whoever caught the Snidget during the game, he would award that player 150 galleons. This is the first inspiration for the later to be invented Golden Snitch. Now I believe Harry Potter fans should read more. If they did, I believe they would find new things that they like about the wizarding world, and understand why certain things are the way they are in the 7 books. And if Harry Potter fans truly read more, not listened to the audiobooks, but actually sat down and gave the source material proper reading, we would have fewer poorly thought out, redundant, idiotic opinions and theories that make true Potterheads want to shake our heads. So I guess the last thing I'd say to those people who think they know best on how to fix our great sport is, if you don't like the game, don't play it. Moving on to Harry. I really do believe that Harry Potter was the greatest Gryffindor Quidditch player during his time at Hogwarts. Now I know arguments could be made for both sides. I understand that Quidditch is a team sport. However, I really do believe he was the best. So let's take a look at his stats. He's 3-1 with his Nimbus 2000 and 4-1 with his Firebolt, for a total Hogwarts Quidditch career record of 7 wins, 2 losses. And yes, in all 7 of his wins, he caught the snitch. His 2 losses came against Hufflepuff in games where he did not leave the Quidditch pitch conscious. If you can keep Harry Potter away from those who want to harm him, he'll win you the game. He's reliable, a quick flyer, and a natural talent who has it in his blood to be a great Quidditch player, having a dad who was a Quidditch star himself. Against his house rival Slytherin, he's 5-0. He's 1-0 against Ravenclaw, and 1-2 against Hufflepuff. If he wasn't one of the most famous people alive and didn't have to confront the Dark Lord and thought, I want to be a professional Quidditch player instead of becoming an Auror, then I truly believe that Harry Potter, the boy who lived, the chosen one, Gryffindor's Quidditch savior who ended a 6-year Slytherin Quidditch Cup champion streak, who made the team as a first-year walk-on, could at the very least, make it on a professional Quidditch team's reserve team, like the Gryffindor great Oliver Wood. And if you think differently, you must be more concussed than Ludo Bagman. And all this talk that it's his broom and not Harry that makes him a better Quidditch player than everyone else, that we need broom regulation? Ugh, give me a break. Gryffindor was at the bottom of the barrel when Harry joined the team, and ever since his first game, they've had immediate success. And how many times have we heard Dumbledore or even Hermione say, it's not the wand, but the wizard that makes great magic? The same is true here. It's the smart, instinctive, talented Quidditch player, not his broom, that makes him a great Quidditch player. If you still don't believe me, take a look back at Gryffindor versus Slytherin's match during Harry's second year. Now, if a team doesn't stay up to date on the latest racing brooms on the market and doesn't acquire them, but another team does, that's not unfair play or league bias. It's called strategy. I imagine these professional Quidditch teams have budgets for drafting players, their equipment, and travel expenses, aka their brooms. So if a team is outmatched by speed with another team, that's poor team management by the coaches and owners, not the fault of some Quidditch League entity. And finally, the one aspect of the sport I would amend is that of the second string backups. Whether it was Oliver Wood's lack of game plan preparation when he compiled a starting roster, or Gryffindor just struggled to recruit players after so many failed seasons, I think it's the second one. But either way, you'd expect someone to be behind Harry in case something happened to him on or off the Quidditch pitch that prevented him from playing. They had to finish the season against Ravenclaw without a seeker. 6-on-7? What? And it's so ridiculous. And when Ginny has to step up and fill Harry's spot as seeker, Dean is called upon to be Ginny's replacement as chaser. But he's only eligible to do that because he tried out for the Quidditch team but didn't make it. But it's not even like he was part of the team. He wasn't practicing with them. But even still, what if something happened to Ginny during a Quidditch game? Gryffindor would just finish the game with 2 chasers. My point is this. Having a mandatory rule of having a minimum of 1 backup player for every position for a minimum of 4 second string backups per team would be my humble addition to our great sport without drastically changing the game? Well, I feel like I've talked enough about Quidditch to last until the next World Cup. So, I guess the only thing left to do is to spin the Weasley wheel. What? Weasley, 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 Weasley. Weasley is our king. He always lets the quaffle in. That's why Slytherin sing. Weasley is our king. Weasley is our king. He never lets a quaffle in. That's why Gryffindor sing. Weasley is our king. All right, let's spin the Weasley wheel. Here we go. What do we got? Gimme, gimme, gimme. All right, here we go. Now this is the Weasley wheel. And twice this episode, I will spin the wheel, and you see it has 8 different choices, 7 of them being the Weasley children, and each person has a note card that goes with them and an action on the back of their card. And if it lands on a certain person, I will read what's on the back of their card, and I'll have to do what's on the back of their card. So simple enough. And the black spot, that's just spin again, an empty one. Kind of looks like the veil, the archway from the Ministry of Magic, beyond the veil. So spin it twice and do 2 different things, whatever the cards say. So let's give it a spin. All right, Fred. First up, Freddie. All right, let's see. Fred. Okay, it says, do a collection video. Okay, so sometime in the future, I will make a video on one item that I collect with my Harry Potter memorabilia. So that could be anything from the wands I collect to the t-shirts to my chocolate frog card collection. So I will make one video of something I collect. All right, so that's the first one. Second time, let's see what we get. Ron. All right, my favorite Weasley. Let's see, where are you? There you are. Ron. It says, Birdie Bots every flavor beans, and in parentheses, handful. I guess that means I gotta take a handful of Birdie Bots every flavor beans. All right. Got some here. How fitting, our unofficial sponsor, Birdie Bots. Let's see. All right, this is gonna be interesting. All right, handful. All right. I don't have the biggest hands, but oh well. Let's get a good amount. Uh-oh, I see a vomit flavored right on top of the orange one. You see that? Oh, those are dangerous. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. See some good ones like marshmallow, lemon, and watermelon, but that vomit, that's, oh. I hope I don't taste the vomit. All right, so enough stalling. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, so many. I don't think I can fit it in my mouth. What is this? Okay, just go. Okay. This may take a while. Okay. It tastes soap. A lot of soap. Okay. A little cinnamon. I like cinnamon. Okay. I'm getting there on the thumb. Alright, so that's the Weasley wheel. 2 spins. I'm going to save that until after I'm done. I'm not going to cheat. Take it all. Okay. Get towards the end. Alright, that wasn't so bad. Wonderful. Alright, so, yeah, that just about does it. I mean, this episode was so much fun to make that I just want to dedicate this video to Roderick Pumpton, Bowman Wright, and Magnus Dented McDonald. Well, goodbye, you internet people. You'll see me next month. Cheers.